What's going on, guys? It's Eric from Intelligent Quads coming back at you with another video. So I've been getting a lot of questions about different pieces of software that you can use on your drone. A lot of these questions revolve around dronekit and MAVSDK and pymavlink as well as MAVros. So as you guys may have seen in all the previous tutorials, we've been using MAVros to control our drone. And MAVros is one of pretty much four different pieces of software you can use to control your drone. Each of these pieces of software are a little bit different and have their strengths and weaknesses. And so in this video, I'm going to be going over what those strengths and weaknesses are, and hopefully this can help you make a better, more informed decision on what software you're going to be using on your drone. Before I go into the different programming libraries that you can use on your drone, I'm going to take a step back and go over the high-level architecture of an intelligent drone one more time. So in every intelligent drone, there is a flight control unit, and for our purposes, this is either going to run RDPilot or PX4. These are very capable flight control software stacks that interface sensors, control loops for rate, attitude, velocity, and position, as well as interface with the actuators for our drone. In addition, you typically will have a ground control computer which will allow you to plan missions, see the telemetry of your drone, and give just general commands to your flight control unit. All of these commands will go over a protocol called MAVLink, and MAVLink is pretty much a lightweight communication protocol for drones, which I'm going to be going a little bit more in depth of what MAVLink is and how that works in the next coming slides. The next common thing for an intelligent drone system to have is a companion computer, and a companion computer is usually set aside for more of the high-level tasks, as well as like some of the navigation things, and more of your application-specific programs will run here. But in order to give commands from the companion computer to the flight control unit, you will typically have to send mavlink commands from your program. And that's where these programming libraries come into play. They are essentially a way to programmatically send mavlink commands from your companion computer to your flight control unit. It's also worth noting that you can use these same programming libraries also on the ground control station if you do not want to have a companion computer in the loop. Now I'm going to go a little bit more in depth into how mavlink works. Mavlink is a message protocol with defined messages that any system on the network has the definitions of each message already predetermined. MAVLink is also designed to be a very lightweight protocol so that it can be used with radio transmitters. MAVLink can also act as the payload within UDP and TCP packets. This is how the software in the loop instance in RDPilot works. If you're not familiar with UDP and TCP, TCP and UDP are internet protocols that basically the whole internet is based upon. It is also common to have programs that take MAVLink streams that are coming over radios and then to relay them over the internet using a UDP or a TCP MAVLink stream. In MAVLink, there is a bit of information that's packed into the header of each message. These are the target system ID, so that would be the UAS drone system or the ground control station system ID that you're trying to send the MAVLink message to, the component ID. So the component ID usually denotes a certain sensor or computer within one system, and a system usually defines either a ground control station or a drone. So on a drone, you may have multiple computers or multiple sensors that talk MAVLink, and the component ID can be used to denote which sensor or device within a system the message is meant for. The message ID then denotes the type of data that's going to be coming over, and the message ID will then correspond to a definition of the way the data is supposed to be packed. For instance, this global position int, and basically this message is showing you the current lat-long velocity of a drone. A drone flight stack such as like RDPilot would pack this data in based off of the sensor measurements and then send this to the ground control station. And for this message ID, it would say 33, which corresponds to this message definition. And basically, when the ground control station receives this message, sees the message ID, it knows that the data is going to be within this format. The final thing that's worth noting in this MAVLink is the checksum. And the checksum is basically a set of numbers that basically define if the message has been corrupted. And this is particularly useful when you're doing MAVLink via radios. So there may be interference, which would then make the radio not receive the message as expected. And based off of the algorithm that determines the checksum, the ground control station will then run that algorithm and then compare the checksum bytes. And if the checksum bytes don't match, then likely the data has been corrupted. And so then the ground control station will not use the data. That's just one example. If you were to send data back the other way, the aircraft would check the checksum and then make sure that the data hasn't been corrupted as you send it from the ground control station to the aircraft. Now let's talk about MAVROS. So MAVROS is really useful if you really like using the robot operating system environment. And the robot operating system environment really shines when you're combining a lot of different programs together in one device. Take, for example, if you had a node that was designed to interface with a camera and then do some computer vision algorithms and then take data and then send that data to maybe like a transformation node to put that in the correct reference frame so that you can make a decision in your navigation node. And then you would send navigation commands to your MAVROS node, which would then translate these commands into MAVLink and then send that to your FCU. If you're planning on combining many different programs together, ROS may be the solution for you because it offers a really easy way to send data in between your different programs. This architecture right here is really common on companion computers, and this is really where MAVROS shines. Pymavlink is essentially a Python version of MAVLink and also contains functions for sending MAVLink messages either via serial to a radio transmitter or receiving that and sending it over UDP or TCP. It's very versatile and easy to set up because it runs in Python. However, it doesn't have the same ROS interface that MAVROS has. So if you're planning on combining a bunch of programs together, Pymavlink may not be the best program for that. If you're just trying to simply script your drone, pymavlink might be a really good use for that. The other great use for pymavlink is if you're trying to make a interface that shows data that maybe a companion computer doesn't typically show. This would be a great use for that because it's very easy to use and it's in Python. Now I'm going to talk about dronekit, and this is a programming library that I get asked about a lot, and that's because it uses Python and also it has the same mavlink bindings that pymavlink uses, but it also has high-level functions for uploading, downloading waypoints, creating missions, and arming and disarming. And you don't really have to think about the actual mavlink message as much as you do in pymavlink, and it kind of abstracts it for the user, and it's a little bit more easy to use. This would be a good choice if you're just trying to do a simple script for your drone and you don't want to think about the low-level mavlink messages a lot. Also, it's worth noting that both pymavlink and dronekit can run either on the companion computer or the ground control station. The final programming library that I want to talk about is MAVSDK, and this is a little bit of a newer programming library, and it's a little bit more optimized for PX4 and may have issues if you're trying to use it with RDPilot, but it essentially uses the same MAVLink interface, so it should be good for any vehicle that talks MAVLink. This one is really nice because it has a translation in many different languages, including C++, Python, Java, JavaScript, etc. It also has high-level functions just like dronekit for taking off, planning waypoint missions, and doing more high-level navigation and not having to think about the exact mavlink message as much. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this short little video on the different programming libraries that you can use with your drone. I hope this clears up a lot of the questions you guys have been having. Please let me know in the comments below if you guys want me to do any videos on any of these specific programming libraries. Also let me know what kind of drone applications you guys are doing. That way I can tailor the videos a little bit more to you guys' liking. I also want to mention, I know I've been away for a while and I'm trying to get back into it, and I'm glad that I could at least make a simple video that could address a lot of the big questions for you guys this weekend. So until next time guys, keep it cool.